All right, I'm sitting here not necessarily because it's the spot I wanted to be, but because it's so windy out that this is about the only place I can find any protection. So I'm along this little bike trail here, down at the tip of Fort Fisher near the aquarium, and it's a nice little spot. But I rode down here on the road, and that's kind of what I was planning to do, but it's so windy that I just needed a spot. In fact, so I had a tailwind all the way from where we're staying down here to Fort Fisher's because the wind's kind of out of the north. And I think I averaged over 25 miles an hour the whole way down here, and my normal riding speed would be kind of 18 or 19. So there's a huge tailwind, which means I'm going to be battling all the way back. And I already went down to where the ferry terminal is, so the ferry leaves off of the tip of Fort Fisher. And there's kind of the famous wall we looked at that crosses over to the island. It's like a seawall, basically, an old wave break. But it was nasty out there. I took some videos that I'll show you right after this. But it's pretty nasty out there. So I kind of found this little spot along this bike trail, but it's pretty cool actually. There's a little swamp here. Very concerningly, there's a sign next to me that says that it's illegal to feed the alligators, and I'm not sure what they're talking about feeding the alligators, because legal or illegal, I'm not certain I want to feed myself to them. But either way, there's some kind of cool brackish swamps in here, and so I'll show you some footage of that too. So the plan today is we're going to start kind of here at the tip of Fort Fisher, and that's where the inlet comes through, the big inlet, from the river after it comes past Wilmington. Now, what we're on right now is called Pleasure Island, and it was naturally just a peninsula. And once upon a time, people cut a channel through so that there was a faster way to get from the river out onto the ocean. It's called Snow's Cut, and that makes this officially an island now. So we are on an island here. And so we're going to work north on that island from Fort Fisher. There's kind of some hills in here that look like dunes, but they're actually old battle sites, and so there's kind of some weird stuff in here. But there's also some places that are getting erosion, there's places that are getting accumulation, and so we're just going to kind of ride along and head back north. I'll be battling the wind, and we'll just take video wherever we see stuff that's kind of cool. So right after this, I'm going to show you the video I've already taken, which is the stuff that was down by the ferry terminal, including the marsh. I didn't stick around too long. You can actually see the ferry in parts of it. I didn't stick around too long because even though it's 10 in the morning, there was a fisherman who was so drunk he could barely stand, and I didn't really trust him. And so I decided to get out of there. But there's some cool footage of kind of the tip of the island where you get this really beautiful backwater swamp. Yeah, and then we'll head our way north. right, so I'm sitting here at Fort Fisher, which is another, the actual battlefield site, the historic marker. And it is on the backside of the island, and the winds are out of the northeast right now, and so it is quite protected back here, which is actually why I stopped. As you'll see from the video, I was just on the front side of the island. The front side of the island is getting pounded, and this is the spot where they rip-wrapped the whole beach with rock to protect this historic site here and kind of protect the tip of the island. And it's pretty spectacular today. There's so many waves coming in, and the swells are big, and they're just crashing against the rocks. Just to the north of that, right where the riprap ends, is where the apartment building or condo building is just hanging out over the water. And I thought for sure that it would probably be abandoned, and then a woman came out on the second story balcony. So keep an eye out for that in those videos, but it's wild over there. Meanwhile, on this side, pretty calm. Out on the Sound, which I'll show you in just a second here, it's pretty wavy, but really not too bad. I mean, the swells aren't big. There's whitecaps out there. So right after this, I'll kind of scroll around in a circle here, and you can take a look at the Sound and also kind of part of the rebuilt fort. What is straight ahead of me looks like a dune, but it's actually one of these built up Civil War era protections, batteries they call them. So let's kind of scroll around here and take a look. Some really cool live oaks behind me.